Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with your chapter third, next topic after liberalization. This is privatization. What do you understand by the term actually? Privatization means when there is the transfer of ownership or management. You can also say that transfer of control of the public sector enterprise or the government owned enterprise to the private sector or the private companies. So this is known as privatization. Now Indian government has also used the concept of privatization so as to encourage the private sector. Many companies of the government, like by public enterprises, they have money invested of the private sector. There are stakes in the public sector of the private sector as well. So privatization can be if you talk about privatization, it is of two kinds. Either there is complete transfer of ownership of that public company or that government enterprise to the private individual, or in the second case a part of the public sector is being sold to the people, and this process is known as disinvestment. When the entire company is not being sold, when like 20% shares are now given to the private individuals, then 30% are given, or whatever the share is, this is known as disinvestment. So there has been people on and off time who are against the concept of privatization, and few people are in favor of the privatization. What are the reasons that people oppose privatization, or what could be the reasons that people are in favor of privatization actually? Why the people oppose it? Because it is said that this is somehow reducing the role of the government. This is the argument. And what is the favor argument? That private consciousness should be involved in the economy. It is not the government only that it should take on the control on the production and everything, but if each individual is being a part of it, it will lead to better development of the country, better growth of the country. This is the favored argument. Next is your concept of globalization. Globalization, we all understand that it is integrating the national economy with the world economy by removing the barriers, trade barriers and other things. So globalization is a concept which is possible by using the policy of liberalization and privatization. Now it is quite a complex phenomena because we require so many policies so as to make an economy greater integrated to the world. So what are the changes made by globalization of Indian economy? How Indian economy in 1990, we are talking about the period of 1991, the new economic policy came into existence. So what were the policies? They allowed FDI, that is foreign direct investment, up to 50%, 51% in many industries, in many areas. So this resulted in greater integration of Indian economy with the world economy. Then there has been given permission that we can import technology from other countries. They also take into account the devaluation of rupee. Devaluation means government itself reduce the value of international Indian rupee according to the international market of foreign currency. So, if it is in accordance with the international market, there will be people interested in more imports and exports with India. What other thing they did? They also introduced a 5-year import export policy 92 to 97. So this was a part of it, removing all the restrictions, controls on external trade, and allowed market forces to export and import. So this is to bring India in the global competition, international competition, so that we could benefit from the globalization. So, what are the arguments in favor? Favor is you have access to global markets, advanced technology, and the developing countries. They become their large industries have international market to access, and this leads to better growth of the country. What are the against points of globalization? Because benefits are more towards the developed countries as compared to the developing countries as far as market is concerned. More products the countries are selling in India than India is selling in the entire world, so India is benefiting less. Then it also compromise with the local producers. The demand for their products decline. They cannot face such competition from big MNCs, so they destroy it. Then the people who are working in these big MNC offices in the country, the industries which they are operating in the country in special economic zones, especially, they are not allowed. They are not to follow any work ethics in the form of labor laws. So that deteriorates the condition of the people who are at the very lower level. So these are the points which are against the concept of globalization. Next is outsourcing. Outsourcing is, it refers to contracting the activities to a third party. Earlier the organization was, for example, performing the activities, and then it contract the activity to some third party. So outsourcing refers to, if I tell you in a normal language, like the companies, some MNCs, they are doing business in India. For example, they are customer care services being provided by the people in India in an office. So that work is done by these people. It is known as contract work of that organization, MNC. Actually, there are so many companies in India who outsource their work in India to be done by people here. And you can say many companies are here. Many multinational companies are here. Genpact, for example, is one of the company. ADM. So there are so many companies. Especially we are talking about IT. Because of information technology, this is possible, because a person sitting in India in an office, it can give service to a person who is actually living in America or New York or any other part of the world. What kind of services they are giving? Maybe customer care services they are giving. There are also financial services. People are operating in a bank who is here, who the person is here but the bank is located in Germany, for example. So the services are being provided through IT, information technology. It is possible through this. Now India is one of the favorable destination of outsourcing, because here we have the low wage rate, and there is availability of skilled manpower. Educated youth is here, who are MBAs, who are also who has done BCom, for example, who are done MCom, so who are IT professionals, who are MBAs. These are all the youth who are there, who is well educated, and they can take up any such work easily. You have so many manpower available due to the huge population. So Indian business process outsourcing companies are already gaining prominence and earning precious foreign exchange. What are the business process outsourcing companies which provide services to these MNCs, which are the third parties actually? So India is this is very important. What are the services? I've already talked about. It can be record keeping, accountancy, banking service, music recording, or clinical advice also. At times it can be a part of it, like doctors in India giving advices on through using phones and all. So this is possible in India. Now moving on to the next topic of World Trade Organization. Now it is it was earlier called GATT. GATT is General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. It was established in 1948 with 23 member countries. So what was the main idea of GATT? Was to oversee the international trade agreements, and providing equal opportunities for all the country. WTO is also having the same role. It deals in trade and services also. It is a facilitator of the international trade. Now it is 159 member countries of WTO, and they abide by the laws and policies framed under the WTO rules. India is also one of the member, and India is actually a developing country. India is taken the reasonable step to liberalize trade during 1991 on the advice of WTO, IMF. It has removed the restrictions on the international trade. So what are the four functions of WTO? Facilitating the international trade, and to establish trading between the countries according to rules, and to increase the production and to trade of services, to ensure the optimum utilization of the resources in the world, and also to protect the environment. These are the main objectives of WTO, World Trade Organization. Now India is a member of WTO, but India is developing country. Basically WTO is controlled by the developed countries, because since they think about their own interest. At times developed countries is doing trade in the international market at the expense of the developing countries. So go through the main highlights and failures, so that you are able to understand the topic completely. Failures of economic reforms, and highlights. These you will read by yourself, and in your books you will go through the arguments in favor of economic reforms and arguments against economic reforms. So this will complete your chapter. And then we can do some other work related to this chapter in the next explanation. Thank you.